welcome to Not Trevor's Tabletop. I'm Zach.
And I'm Mac.
And today we're going to give our first impressions of the Taverns of Tiefenthal. Or technically second impressions. We did play this one a couple times, and both times at 2 players, so take that into account, because this one could technically play a little differently, I think, with more players.
Yeah.
But, yeah, this is one that comes from the same designer as the Quacks of Quedlinburg and Ganz und Kleber, which I think are both some of our favorite games.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, do you like Ganz as much?
Probably not as much as you. I like it from time
Yeah.
to time, but it's probably not like my go-to.
I know you tend to like verb and verb games, but I don't remember if that one's ever like towards the top of your list of favorite ones.
I like the chaining, but I don't like that I can never win.
Okay. But yeah, this one is probably closer to Quacks than that, but it's still kind of not really the same.
Yeah.
It's kind of a whole different style game where you are trying to run a tavern and try to be successful at that. While kind of doing a slight deck building and rolling some dice and assigning them to different patrons and stuff to gain coin, make upgrades to your tavern. And just keep going for 8 rounds until the game is all done.
Yeah.
What was your excitement level looking at this box cover? Did it have you all excited?
I mean, I thought it certainly looked interesting. I think it kind of reminds me of Heaven and Ale. I don't know if it's like the theme plus the artwork or whatever, so I was kind of like, oh no, what's it gonna be? But we started playing it and stuff, and I'm a sucker for deck building games, so once I kind of figured that out, I was like, yeah, this is good.
Yeah, and that's probably the way I visioned it too. I don't know why, but I did think Heaven and Ale as well. And that probably had me more excited than you, because I like that one, and it makes me think of more of a medium to heavyweight Euro game, but I would say that this is not quite that. Not really.
It's maybe gearing towards middle.
Yeah, maybe around
it's
the
probably
medium.
middle.
But, definitely not as heavy as Heaven and Ale, I don't think.
No.
But, yeah, I think the thing that was exciting me about this game is you're rolling dice and kind of drafting them in a sushi rolls type manner. I guess this one might have technically came out before that. And I'm sure there's other games that you draft dice and it's probably about the same, but that's a mechanism that I always tend to like. And then another thing with this one is your tavern kind of is just this piece of cardboard that has, what is it like? It feels like 8 different sections to it that you kind of snap into place, kind of puzzle piece into place, and all those different pieces can be upgraded. Those are kind of some of the things you can buy with the coins. You also, you make beer, brew, to get some other upgrades and stuff as well. But I found that interesting that there were so many different things you could upgrade. So I was hopeful that it was like, oh, maybe those will, maybe lend themselves to different strategies potentially. And I do still think that is interesting. It's cool. But I felt like some of those were very expensive. And that made them hard to get flipped over early enough in the game to make them feel meaningful.
Yeah.
I guess, is that the feeling you got?
I mean, I think in our first game I got a server flipped over right away, which was really helpful because it guaranteed me an extra dice each round. So, and that one, if you can get the money for it right away, I think it is really good to have flipped. I did the beer storage this time. I think I also did that last time, just because it's cheaper, and I think it's hard to build up your beer right away to begin with, so that kind of gives you like a storage so you can start buying more expensive cards and stuff like that. So yeah, it's kind of a trade-off. I don't always get everything flipped. I think the thing with that is basically it's 2 things, right? So you get the upgraded piece of action or whatever it would be, and then you also get a noble card, which is worth 10 points straight up. Like, that's it. They clutter your deck up a little bit, but points on cards is all you score at the end of the game. So you can't just avoid doing them. You have to do them in order to get nobles. I mean, unless you spend a lot of beer to get multiple noble cards, I think that's the only way you could catch up.
Yeah, and you're definitely... Those are the biggest thing. Whoever has the most of those is probably going to win.
Yeah.
And that's similar to games like Dominion, where you're kind of trying to buy those big point ones, but also trying to make the decision of when to get them. I feel like, this one didn't feel like you had to be like, okay, I can't start getting them now. They don't quite clog it up like that, and I like that they're patrons as well, and they can stack on top of each other, so if you were pulling a bunch of them, it's not like they clog that up. So I think that's an interesting, unique thing that I don't know that I've seen before, where it's kind of those bigger scoring cards that tend to, usually in deck builders, muck up your hand, and you're like, well, I get to do nothing with this card. At least you got to do something with them, and they kind of stacked. So I did like that. But, yeah, and then the other part, the dice thing, that I also was interested in, and this is where maybe it could be different, slightly different at 4 players, because you get a few more options maybe, but then they might not get to you either.
Right.
But like the options of dice and the initial cards you get, you kind of all get the same initial cards, and the patrons, their starting ones, all are 1s and 2s. So those 1s and 2s rolled at the beginning or the first few rounds are much more important than almost any other number. I think a 5 is good too.
Yeah, and a 6.
And a 6. But the 4 and 3 seem
worthless.
Really not good.
Yeah.
And if both in a 2-player game, you'll roll at least 4 each. If you both rolled a bunch of 4s and 3s, I don't know that happened, but it did feel like sometimes we were not getting the numbers to actually get coins.
Yeah.
And that was kind of frustrating. I was like, I kind of wish you had like slightly differed starting deck things that needed different
numbers.
That had like different number, but it seems like a lot of the times the number would correspond with the number of coins. But I feel like if you had your starting deck, you could have it be a different die number and still have it only be 1 coin.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because usually then you'll be buying them, and maybe there's a few more 3s and 4s. Just feels like the right length of game, but at the same time it feels like you don't get to do enough. Like, you'll buy some of these cards that do require 3s or 4s and stuff, and they luckily go on the top of your deck, so you will get to use them that next round, which is, I like that mechanism in deck builder style games as well. That's a really good one. But then, too, when you do have out there, you might not roll those numbers. It just felt like there wasn't enough mitigation there, and it could just be bad rolls between the both of you, and then no one really gets anything.
Yeah.
And it's already a pretty tight game the way it is. So I don't know, it just didn't feel like I was getting kind of as satisfying of rounds as I would like. And even like, usually I feel like in deck build, sometimes you feel like you're building up and stuff. I kind of felt that, but at the same time, felt like this last play that we played of it, I tried going with like this table strategy to try to give myself like as many options as possible, and I still felt like even though I got most of this up, didn't really feel that much more special than kind of some of the first rounds I had. So I'm like, I don't know, because I felt like that did actually like pan out for me, where I did have a couple rounds where I got quite a few out there, but the actual die rolls themselves were not satisfying.
Well, I think you would like to be able to do everything that's out in front of you, but the reality is you only get 4 to maybe 7 die. So that's probably...
Typically closer to the 4.
Yeah, and that's probably the problem, is they're so limited on resource.
Yeah.
You know, like, you have to kind of make your choices based on that, so...
Yeah.
Which, otherwise, I think if you got to do it all, it would be way too simple of a game. I think that limited thing kind of gives it a little bit of an edge.
Yeah, it might be. But yeah, maybe the part of it that does hurt is the fact that it just seemed like it was very hard to shed cards out of your deck.
Yeah,
so you keep those like 1s and 2s and stuff from the very beginning, and there's not really a way to... So it's not like you can even... like mitigate some things via getting rid of those cards. Like I kind of wish at the end of each round you could just toss a card, but I don't remember that in the rules. But there is also a module that that's true.
We could add to it. I think that would maybe, now that we've kind of got the basics learned, that could maybe add some interest to it, because I think there's some more cards and then a different drink option which does some stuff. So
yeah, Yeah, I'm definitely willing to try that. But yeah, I guess what is your score, your initial score here after a couple plays? I think it's probably going to end up being a little higher than mine, maybe.
Wow. Is that a first ever? I'd probably give it 7.5 to an 8.
Okay. Yeah, I tell you were probably enjoying what it was doing a little bit more than I was. I still didn't hate the game. It just wasn't as
It. What a
well,
prize.
I mean, when you're coming off a guy that did Quacks of Quedlinburg, Gons.
Yeah.
I mean, those are some of my favorite games, and it's like, oh, it seems exciting, and it's not too heavy, and I don't know, deck building. I'm like, oh, I like those things a lot, and I guess it's kind of a little bit of a letdown. So it's probably around like a 6.5 for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like low, but it's maybe with the modules, maybe that would change a couple things and would maybe increase it for me. Maybe there'd be some options of other mitigation, but yeah, there's just something about it that didn't quite give me a hook to it that made it feel special. Like I'd much rather play Quacks of Quedlinburg, I guess.
Which they're two totally different games.
They are, but I feel like I'd also rather like play Dominion.
Oh, I could see that. Yeah, I guess it kind of feels like there are some of these games that like hit in the sweet spot for me, where like they're not too heavy, but they're not too light. And like they score really high for me, but then for you they're not heavy enough, they're too light, so then they score lower for you. It's really funny because I can think of like 4 games where it's like, I like this, but he maybe thinks that's not heavy enough.
No, I don't even know if it's that. It just, I think it was more, it wasn't satisfying. Like I actually don't mind like light games, and I feel like some of those I've actually been enjoying a lot more than some of the heavy games I've played. But yeah, this one is kind of trying to mix a couple things, and for me it just didn't seem to click together.
I like
and maybe
that.
it was a couple, maybe the plays just didn't end up, maybe if I got perfect rolls.
You know what it is, guys? He's just mad that he lost twice.
Wow. It might be.
I'm just kidding.
But yeah, you can check out our unboxing video of this. It was probably filmed a while ago, and you might notice there were 3 missing yellow dice in that unboxing. Because when we played this, one of us was going to be the yellow player.
Yeah.
And those dice weren't in there, so I had to go back and rewatch the unboxing. I'm like, I wonder if I did something with them, but they were not in there from the very beginning. So
how could you
go
do
check
this,
that out.
Fish?
Go check that out. But otherwise, we hope to see you on the next one. And as always, don't forget to keep on nibbling on our content.